Coming up on Kochie's Business Builders, protecting your business identity from predators, business tips from Miss Chu's Busy Kitchen, and lessons from the iconic founder, Adam Jacobs. Starting a small business is hard work, made even harder if you're trying to increase the price consumers pay for an existing product. But that's exactly what today's entrepreneur, Kochie Chu, achieved with her business, Miss Chu. We'll find out how she did it a little later. Also today, we've got some really important advice on getting the right trademarking for your business and tips from Aussie fashion startup, The Iconic. But before all of that, let's take in some news you can use. It's likely 1 in 5 of your workers is affected by poor mental health, and untreated mental health problems are a cost to small business through absenteeism and reduced productivity of employees. But if you take action, the benefits can be profound. A recent study found that $1 invested in improving mental health returns an average $2.30. In some industries, the returns are substantially higher. In fact, mentally healthy workplaces are actually more productive and attract higher quality employees. Now, there are some simple and cost-effective actions you can take. Be open about discussing mental health at work. Make sure people understand what their work roles are. Seek input from staff on workloads and the best ways to get the job done. Provide regular performance feedback. Make information available about mental health support services, and ensure work-life balance isn't an empty slogan. The first thing to do is head to Heads Up, an initiative of Beyond Blue and the Mentally Healthy Workplace Alliance. Go to headsup.org.au. Sweet Connoisseur is a local cake-making business that came under fire for infringing on a trademark. It was a tough blow for the husband and wife team and a tricky area for small businesses generally. To help clear the air and get the right protection in place, we sent in small business lawyer Eun Fung.
So Bill, Fiona, tell us about Sweet Connoisseur.
Well, I've been a pastry chef for about 27 years, working in patisseries and hotels. And I started off working in Sydney for myself, just doing cakes on the side for friends and family and private customers as well. Work just kept coming in, word got out there, word of mouth was fantastic.
What steps did you go through to say that I'm now here? You've put your stake in the ground, I've established my business. What other steps did you follow?
Pretty much getting the business name registered, and then we did look at trademarking back then. We had a bit of an issue with that when a friend of mine did a design for a business card, and we put it out to the Trademark Journal to be registered, and we got opposition from a company overseas, from an American hamburger chain, and I found out later on that he had actually copied their logo and replaced the hamburger with a cake, so we had to withdraw that one. And then after that, I sort of left it alone totally and just concentrated on developing the business name into some sort of recognisable logo.
So what's made you think more about your branding and your logo this time around?
6 weeks ago we had a launch on Instagram and really happy with that, but the difficulty that I found was when I went to look at our name and our branding, I wanted to get the handle Sweet Connoisseur. However, someone's already got it in the States. So I thought maybe we need to look at trademarking, or how can we protect our brand, how can we be thinking about our business name and what do we really need to do.
No, I think that's a really good, important step in looking at protecting your brand, protecting your trademark, because you've obviously invested a lot of money into it and a lot of time as well. IP Australia is the government body that looks after trademarking in Australia, and their website is really great, especially for people who can't afford to get legal advice. They can go onto the website, follow the steps, and in doing so can actually register and protect their trademark. The other thing you need to consider when you're looking at trademark registration is the class of trademark. Yeah. So the class of trademarks determines what kind of brand is your business. Is it a product? Is it a service? For your business, you probably fall under 2 broad ranges of trademarks, one around the cakes and cake decoration. So cakes is more around the product side of things, and the cake decorations around the service.
After the break, Ern talks through the essential steps necessary to protect your business identity. This payments tip brought to you by BPay.
I'm Ross Cameron. I set up Cameron Research Group and I've got 22 years of small and medium-sized business research sitting behind me. If you ask a lot of business owners, the three biggest problems in their business, they'll say cash flow, cash flow and cash flow. It's a headache. They're probably getting a bit better at managing it, but geez, it's a nightmare for a lot of small and medium-sized businesses. The reality is there are developments in how businesses can get paid, and some of them have improved cash flow, but it's still a hassle for a lot of businesses, so that nut hasn't been cracked yet. They're still looking for a better solution. BPay is an interesting cat because you've got well over half of the businesses out there that make payment by BPay, but very few of them actually accept payment by BPay. And frankly, a lot of them don't realise that they can, but it ticks actually a lot of the boxes. Customers like paying by BPay, so they pay quicker. It's very easy to reconcile in your accounts as to who is actually paid and improves cash flow, and that's partly because they like paying by BPay.
Visit bpay.com.au/SME for more information. Bill and Fiona have a small cake making business that came under fire for its trademarked logo. Now they're making sure they get their IP in order with the help of lawyer Ern Fang. Let's hear what he has to say.
You could say that in your situation at the moment that you have what they call a common law trademark, which means that you have a strong business brand.
Okay.
Common law trademark is a little bit different to registered trademark. It's still a recognition that you have ownership or that there's some substance to your brand, but registration just adds that a little bit more protection. Now, the challenges with registration is obviously when you have oppositions like what you had in the past. The other issue that you might have with your trademark is that they're very generic terms, which are potentially used by other traders within your same industry.
Yeah.
The benefit that you have is that you've got over 10 years trading history, which means that when you do get an adverse report from IP Australia, you will be able to have an opportunity to respond and prove how you've used the brand or how you've used the name to support the fact that you do own the entitlement to use that name. One of the best ways to try and distinguish your mark or your brand is also by adding your logo beyond just the words. So if you register the picture, which is distinctive, so no one else does it exactly the same way as you, then that will help establish your brand as unique.
So you could use the words stylised as an image, as a logo, and that would still be okay.
Yeah, so you can register a trademark as a word, you can register a trademark as an image, you can register a trademark as an image as a word. So when it's something distinctive and unique to that business, they will potentially try and protect it. So Bill, with your business and its direction, doing your research up front, finding out who else is in that space who may be using the same name, or even something similar that may be possibly confusing, just so that you know what's out there. Doing your searches through IP Australia. When you're looking at trademarking, focus on what is it that you're doing, understanding the nature of that business. So having some foresight and planning ahead as to where your business is going to go.
Yep.
Well, thanks, guys. I hope what I've shared with you has been helpful, and all the best with your business.
Thanks, mate. Thanks very much.
Gee, it's great to get that cleared up by Ern, isn't it? As he said, the best way to distinguish your brand is to add a unique logo to stand out and register it as a trademark. Don't forget to drop by kbbtv.com.au and check out the IP Australia website for more. Now, from IP to online fashion, let's get some tips from Sydney startup The Iconic.
Hi, my name's Adam Jacobs. I'm one of the founders and the managing director of theiconic.com.au. The most important tip that we've learned in the last couple of years is that an idea is only as great as its execution. We think that not much has changed about business in the last couple of centuries or even in the last millennia, and that a good business comes down to two things. Number one, really understanding your customer and understanding what they need, Number 2, having a fantastic product that they rave about and fulfills that need. So no matter what idea you start with, what's really important is that you constantly critically evaluate it and you listen to as many data points as possible, friends, peers, insights, customer feedback, what the market's doing, what your competitors are doing, to keep evaluating whether your idea is working, what parts are good, what parts are bad, and optimizing it on a daily basis. We believe that the winner in the end is not the one that has the idea, it's the one that best executes it.
Up next, straight talking tips from Miss Chu's Kitchen.
The search for Australia's worst website is on. With 100,000 in prizes and digital makeovers to give out, we're going to change the lives of some Aussie businesses in serious need. And if you don't have the worst site, but could do with a better one, there's a prize for you too. Head to rescuemysite.com.au to get involved.
This business tip brought to you by NAB, helping Australian business see more, not less. David, let's say I own a small coffee shop which employs a couple of staff. Do I really need to put much thought into risk management?
Well, Kochie, actively managing risk is vital. There are many risks in the business. Some will have minimal impact and some will be more crucial. But with regular reviews to identify and understand them, you can develop processes to manage, reduce, or eliminate them.
All right, tell me why it's so important, though.
Well, in many cases, risk management is a legal requirement. For example, OC Health and Safety, you have to do it. But it can also lead to other benefits. Less chance of disruption in the business long term, lower insurance premiums save you money, better staff productivity.
So what about risks that I can't eliminate, though?
There's a range of insurances which you may consider, ones that protect your assets, your workers, your customers, and of course your revenue. Small businesses are dependent on staff members, such as the owner, so you can consider key person insurance as well.
That makes sense. So what's the next step?
Kochie, your NAB business protection specialist can sit down with you and discuss the risks that face your business and help you with them.
Good on you. Thanks, David.
Thanks, Kochie.
For more tips and stories, visit nab.com.au/more-for-business. Naji Chu is widely regarded as the queen of rice paper rolls. She's established a cult following for her premium products, breaking the mould for Vietnamese food in Australia. To find out how she's taken her business from scratch to sales of $25 million a year, KPB's Alex Brophy dropped in on Miss Chu's Kitchen.
So you've established some really passionate sort of cult following, if you like. How have you gone about that?
More than the food, it's always been about telling the story of how the Vietnamese person got to Australia. You know, I came as a refugee in 1978, and I've always thought that that story needed to be told. I've always wanted to say to Australia that I am a part of this country's history, and I wanted to celebrate that through my food. So in a short space of 7 years, from a catering business to, I guess now, you could call me a bit of a tuck shop mogul. Started the business with $1,500 in the bank. To these days, we're turning over approximately 25 mil per annum.
So how did the brand develop to having your personal story and face as part of it?
I went about by putting my refugee visa on my labels and all of my menus, and I started branding it. I started saying to people, guess what? I know you're going to love my food, but you're also going to have to love me and my culture. And I really wanted to change people's perceptions of the word Vietnamese and refugee.
Do you think that personalisation and story is important for any business in any industry?
I think more so in this day and age than ever. Marketing in this day and age has become very nuanced and very clever. I didn't set out to be a marketing expert. All I was doing was telling my story, being authentic about it and being honest.
So you had a great business, great product and really strong brand. Why haven't you franchised?
I wasn't going to franchise up until now. So I'm still young and I'm still learning, and I've winged it along the way. I've now realised that there is only one way to grow fast, and that is to franchise.
What's your advice to other budding entrepreneurs?
Look, if you have a dream and you want to work for yourself and you're an entrepreneur, take the risk, but make sure it's an educated risk. Don't have pipe dreams. Do your research and execute the plan. There's one thing worse than not doing something. It's the regret and the what if.
And what's left in the tank then? What's the future for Miss Chu?
Well, you know, I'm halfway there already with executing the international expansion. So I'm hell-bent on having a Miss Chew in Hong Kong, in Tokyo, and in LA and New York, and one in Paris. And really, you know, that would be my dream, to leave behind that sort of legacy for the world, to say that this is how the Vietnamese diaspora spread throughout the world, through food.
That's a terrific ambition. Thanks a lot for your time.
My pleasure. Thanks, Alex.
It's a remarkable Australian story, isn't it? From refugee to tuck shop mogul. And a great point she makes about the importance of personalising your brand, which has been central to her marketing strategy. As Naji said there, do your research, take educated risks, and tell your story. Now, if you're not sure where to start, drop by kbbcoaching.com.au, where help is on hand wherever you're based. Coming up, another sharp tech tip from Val Quinn, and one of your best questions answered in Ask Kochie. This Business in the Spotlight brought to you by BPay.
Guys, it's a terrific online business you've built here. Gillian, how did you get started?
We were a traditional bricks and mortar store, and I used to like shopping online. And then one day Andrew turned around and had a bet with me that I couldn't sell a blind online. So I took that challenge and I went about creating a website and having blinds online, and that's how we all came about.
There was no trepidation about jumping online?
But we were actually dealing with something that we were pioneers in the industry with going online. When anyone thought of buying window finishings, what they thought of was that they had to get someone out to do the measure, to do the install. So what we had to do was change that way of thinking. We didn't know whether it was going to work, but we knew that we had something that we were passionate about, and that we just decided to put every bit of effort into it, and it was amazing.
So Andrew, what's been the biggest challenge along the way?
Realising that you've got to cover all bases. People do their research at 10 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, making sure that you've got all the information there that they want. You make it simple, not overwhelming. You make the ordering process easy. You answer all their questions, and credibility. They know that they're dealing with a rock-solid company.
The website is really our showroom, and it's in everybody's home. And it never stops surprising us where the customers are coming from. You know, we've got outback stations, you know, on satellite phones ringing to ask us questions, and you know, sending the product, you know, out to remote little islands and things like that. We get a kick out of it every time we see something like that.
And what would you say to other businesses wanting to make the leap from bricks and mortar to online?
It's a lot harder with online. You've got to think outside the square. One of the most important things is to really get a good website company, a website designer that you know that can do the job that you're after. Have a vision and just run with it and be passionate about it.
And stay with what you believe to be true. If you know your product and your industry, stay with it.
Now, given you make quite a custom product, how do you handle the cash side of things?
Well, we handle credit cards online, we handle credit cards in the store, we do direct deposits, and of course we do BPay. I like BPay in as much as, again, it's part of that confidence. It's very important that the customer knows that they're sending their money to the right place.
Online shopping's all about security as well, and if we can offer the highest level of security, and using BPay is one of those means of doing that.
And what about on the administrative side of things? It saved you time?
Oh, it's easy. It just appears every day there with the reference number, so it's very easy to pair it up with the order.
And for us,
not a problem.
Cash flow, it means it's there, you know, the next day.
Yeah. I've actually even seen them on the same day, which I thought was a bit surprising.
That's always nice.
Yeah.
Visit bpay.com.au/SME for more information.
Computerized point-of-sale systems are fast becoming more accessible to small businesses. They may save money, increase productivity, and cut down on the time you're distracted from the primary focus of your business. Australian startup Counta has built a cash register that supports traditional payments, but it can also interact with mobile and online payment methods like Xero and Beat the Queue, services that provide additional value to the retailer. Compared to traditional POS systems, tablet-based ones are considerably cheaper, and they deliver a faster, safer, and more interactive shopping experience for both merchants and their customers around the world.
A question this week for Ask Kochie comes from Kay via Twitter. Now, Kay asks, what sort of content should I be putting on social media? Terrific question. It really depends on what your business does and who your target market is. For visually appealing products, image-based networks like Instagram and Pinterest work really well. If customer service is important, it could benefit from a news-based network like Twitter. To reach a wide range of people, Google Plus and Facebook are ideal. They're widely used and let you voice important and up-to-date messages. Whichever network you choose, establish a voice and some posting guidelines and create a personality for your brand. But rather than selling and promoting the business all the time, social media is about engaging followers and creating a community. Ask interactive questions, respond to posts, and share some inspiration and insights. People like to know you're a real person. If you're up for more weekly advice and business news, join our newsletter at kbbtv.com.au so you don't miss out on anything from the KBB team. Plus, there's plenty of bonus video there to check out, so enjoy. We'll catch you next time. Next week on KBB, we tackle good mental health in small business. Catch up with the family behind Harris Farms and get Carolyn Creswell's top business tips. But you don't have to wait until then. Jump onto kbbtv.com.au for more great videos.